Yo, what is up, guys? James Baek here, and today we have the finals of the Liberty Garden Invitational. And guess who it is? It's me versus my good friend who I faced in the round 5 of Swiss, Stephen May. But today we're gonna go over the finals match. If you guys haven't watched my top 4 set or my round 5 set earlier, you can check that out in the description in the link in the description down below. But let's get into it. So Steven's team, Dual Primal, very familiar with Kangaskhan, Kyogre, Thundurus, Salamence, Groudon, and Bronzong. My team is the Big C, Kangaskhan, Xerneas, Groudon, Cresselia, Salamence, and Smeargle. I already know my game plan. I'm just going to leave Cresselia Groudon because it's the duo that puts in the most work against the Dual Primal team. So I'm just going to lead Cresselia Groudon. I don't know what he wants to lead since it's going to be quite interesting and it's quite annoying, so I'm just going to pick a safe lead as he leads Salamence Kyogre. And here I'm like, okay, I think I already know what I want to do. So since his Salamence never went for Draco Meteor in the first set that we played, I'm guessing he doesn't have Draco Meteor, and I'm highly expecting Tailwind. So he might be expecting either Skill Swap or Icy Wind. Icy Wind's pretty dangerous in this situation. So what I'm assuming, he might expect an Icy Wind. His Kyogre is quiet. I did confirm this off stream. So I know that if I get an Icy Wind off, his Kyogre is slower than my Groudon and Cresselia, even under Tailwind. He has to protect Tailwind first turn if he wants to outspeed me. So I'm going to just go for the Skill Swap Swords Dance play. The worst way he can punish me is going for a Hyper Voice and an Ice Beam, but I do have my Cresselia with some speed control methods, so either way I feel like this is the safe play, and I'm expecting to Tailwind Origin Pulse or Tailwind Protect. I'm really not expecting the Hyper Voice Ice Beam play. And I'm not expecting Double Edge Ice Beam play either. So that's what I'm going to go for. He actually does go for the Protect, which is excellent for me because Kyogre's not doing damage, and I am assuming the Tailwind, and we do see the Tailwind right here. So I'm like really happy on the inside because I know how this is going to work already. I had the Skill Swap set up, so now that even if he wants to bring out his Groudon, I have Levitate on my own Groudon, so I don't have to worry about his Groudon. I also have the Desolate Land up, so Water types are useless, and I do set up the Sword Stance because +1 is very important because +1 Groudon does not knock out a Salamence unless it's hasty, and does not knock out his Kyogre at only +1. So I can just protect Groudon and set up a safe Gravity since my Cresselia is faster. I could set up Trick Room, but I do want the Gravity up first because I know he's just going to Hyper Voice Ice Beam right here. He could switch, but there isn't much momentum if he gets it, with most likely the Pokemon he brought in the back. As he does fire off the Hyper Voice right here, does a decent amount to my Cresselia, and the Ice Beam does go into Groudon as Gravity is going to be set up. And Groudon, under Gravity, this is the game I like to play. Boosted already, I can go for a Precipice Blades and a Trick Room right here because he does not want to waste Tailwind turns. I'm assuming he's just going to go for another Hyper Voice or maybe Double Edge and Ice Beam into my Groudon. I know that's not going to KO. He is going to fire off a Hyper Voice once again, bring my Cresselia under half, but my Citrus Berry is going to heal me right back up. And this Kyogre is just going to fire off that Ice Beam, which I am completely fine with, as Ice Beam is going to put my Groudon in the red, but Precipice Blaze does connect with the Gravity. It does hit Salamence, and it's going to miss the knockout on Salamence and do a nice chunk to the Kyogre, which is exactly what I wanted. Trick Room is set up. He has one more turn of Tailwind. If I knock out the Salamence, it's game basically, so I'm just going to reverse my own Trick Room and Precipice Blaze. The only Pokemon he can outspeed me, my Groudon with in normal, not in no Trick Room, is his Mega. So luckily, I know his Kyogre is most likely going to protect here to stall out that Tailwind, and the Precipice Blades is going to knock out his Groudon. The Salamence. I knew his Salamence wanted to protect here because he most likely wanted to get Bronzong in and start going for Hypnosis since it's under Gravity and it's the slowest thing on the field. But I wasn't going to give that to him. I'm just going to get rid of the Mega, and Groudon basically cleans up the game from here. It's under Tailwind. It's the fastest thing on the field. I did confirm Steven's speed on Groudon off stream as well. So, because we were talking about our teams, but luckily, Kyogre is definitely in range of a Precipice Blades. Groudon goes down to a +1 Precipice Blades, and most likely he has either Thundurus or he has Bronzong here. If he has Thundurus, he should switch out his Kyogre, but his Thundurus will be at Focus Sash, and the only way he can hit me is with a Hidden Power Water, and I'm pretty sure I win this game because if I knock out Groudon here, it's basically game. And I just go for the Icy Wind Insurance. In case he switches out to his Thundurus, I break the Focus Sash and then knock it out with the Precipice Blades. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Icy Wind, Precipice Blades, able to pick up the double knockout on both of Steven's Primals, and he only has one Pokemon left. And since it's not Kangaskhan, most likely because he brought Mega Salamence, he's either Bronzong or Thundurus, which should confirm the game for me 100%. There's no way he should be able to come back, and it is the Bronzong, and that is going to be game one because there's no way Bronzong is beating a Primal Groudon with a Gravity setup, and he is going to forfeit the first match. So I felt pretty confident after this first match. I feel like I played the best I could in that, but game two, I know that I played sloppy looking back. So we're going to be playing game two. I kind of was hesitant about leads. I was thinking maybe Steven would predict me to bring a Kangaskhan Cresselia lead because that's what I brought in game two of the first set we played. So I wasn't expecting to lead Kyogre again since Kyogre didn't do much, especially with the skill swap. But yeah, I just bring my I basically just bring my Groudon and Cresselia. Oh, in the last game I did bring Smeargle and Zern. I believe I brought Smeargle and Kangaskhan, and this time I'm going to do the same thing, bring all four of the same Pokemon. I'm not expecting Kyogre to lead, but then again, I did realize after I finished clicking Team Preview that he does have an option if he leads Kangaskhan Kyogre. I could actually see that lead. So that was a big mistake on my part. I should have thought more about leads and probably should have just led the safer Kangaskhan Cresselia because I could pivot out into my Groudon if he led his Kyogre. And Kangaskhan and Kyogre are very scary together for my team if he has the weather setup. He has Fake Out and the Origin Pulse pressure against my team. So I do lead my Cresselia and Groudon. And unfortunately, Steven does lead the Kangaskhan Kyogre. The one lead I was really scared of. And Steven's in a really good position here because the sun is going to go up. But however, the rain is actually going to go up since Kyogre is slower. And he has the pressure to Origin Pulse and just Fake Out my Cresselia. It's a pretty free play, and no matter what, I'm going to get punished by it because my Cresselia is definitely going to go down to a combination of Fake Out plus Origin Pulse plus a Double Edge the following turn. So I'm in a pretty tough situation. There's also a chance he could go for Power Up Punch to boost his Kangaskhan because a +2 Double Edge will knock out anything on my team. So I really had to think, how can I possibly try to win this game? I think I have to sack my Smeargle here at this point because I need Cresselia alive next to my Groudon to win this game. I know that 100%. So I'm going to sack Smeargle because it is not necessary in this game. It's only as a support mon. It doesn't actually do much other than Dark Void, and I don't really need Dark Void to win the game, as I proved in the last battle. So I'm going to sack my Smeargle here, hoping he goes for Fake Out and not Power Up Punch into Cresselia. And hoping he goes for the Origin Pulse here and knocks out my Smeargle. And I could bring in my Cresselia then. So Kangaskhan is going to Mega Evolve here, and it is the question if he does Power Punch or Fake Out into my Cresselia slot. And fortunately, I do protect my Groudon, but fortunately for me, he does go for the Fake Out instead of the Power Punch. If he went for Power Punch, I think I was just screwed at that point, as Fake Out's going to connect, and I need Origin Pulse to connect. I need my Cresselia to get back in here, otherwise I'm in a pretty bad position, unless I got a speed boost or something. But he does connect with the Origin Pulse, which is actually fortunate for me, as Smeargle is going to go down, but I get a free switch into my Cresselia, and here I'm kind of way behind here. He has his weather up still, and he has a Kangaskhan out. I have to make the plays. I feel like I need to win the game. I'm hoping that Kyogre either protects or switches out. So I'm going to go for the Icy Wind because I can't afford Kangaskhan to be faster than my Groudon with a Power Punch, which was what I was expecting. That's what he does here. But he doesn't protect the Kyogre. So I'm going to go for the Icy Wind in case he switched out. But I needed to slow down Kangaskhan in order to have a chance at this game. And Steven makes a really good play. Power Punch, Origin Pulse. I think this was the safest play, and I definitely didn't think about this during the set, but that was definitely his best play because if I went for Icy Wind, he got the Power Punch so he could knock my Groudon the following turn, and if I went for Skill Swap, Double Edge would knock out, but if I didn't go for it, he gets the Origin Pulse off and knocks out my Groudon. If he missed the Origin Pulse on Groudon, that was game 100% because I could have Gravity Precipice Blades to double knock him out. But I am gonna lose the first set here. If I had Xerneas, maybe I could win this, but I don't think Kangaskhan's pulling it out, especially against +2 Kangaskhan and a Kyogre. So I am gonna forfeit the game here. And Steven played a really good lead game. I think that lead was just so much pressure against me that I didn't exactly have enough to deal with it. But I definitely know not to lead Cresselia Groudon again in that case because that was just too much pressure to Kyogre and Kangaskhan put. And Kangaskhan's definitely an issue. I mean, it's one of the strongest Pokemon if it can get set up. So, luckily, I didn't lose that much by going for the plays I made. And we do have game 3. I was already a game ahead, so I was pretty fine with losing that game because now I think I know what Steven's going to do. I was actually not expecting Steven to adapt that quickly. I have played him before, but he is showing phenomenal growth, and I'm really proud of him. As you know, we're good friends. We talk a lot on Skype, and yeah, now it's time for game 3. And game 3, I think I already know my game plan. I'm expecting that Kangaskhan Kyogre lead again, because honestly, any lead that he did bring didn't work out in his favor. So what I'm actually going to do is switch it up. Smeargle was not very helpful. I used it as a sack. Otherwise, it didn't do much offensively. And I think I do need some offensive pressure in the next game. So I'm actually going to lead Kangaskhan Xerneas this time with Cresselia and Ground on the back. I'm going to try to weaken his Kangaskhan in order to win the game. Because as I said, Cresselia plus Ground can sweep a team. But I have to weaken the Kangaskhan first. That's basically what I need. I just need to weaken Kangaskhan first. And I feel like I can win the game 100%. So we're going to go into game 3 here. My Kangaskhan Xerneas will lead again. I'm not gonna go for a Geomancy sweep. I'm gonna go for the weaken the opponent's team so my Groudon can sweep. As Kangaskhan and Kyogre comes out here. And now, there's a lot of mind games here. There's definitely a lot of mind games here. I could switch on to my Groudon for my Kangaskhan and go for a Geomancy. That's a very, very good play I could go for if I expect him to stay in. Or his Kyogre could go for an Ice Beam, and Kangaskhan could go for a Double Edge into one of my Pokemon to pick up the knockout. He can also switch out Kyogre into Bronzong. But I feel like the best play here is just to fake out. I could go for Power Punch and Protect here, but that's kind of risky after taking an Origin Pulse. So I feel like my best play no matter what is just to fake out the Kyogre and just go for a Moonblast into Kangaskhan. I feel like that's the safest play in general. Weakening the Kangaskhan is my objective. And nothing wrong with slowing down the Kyogre for the first turn. I could have went for the Power Punch, but I don't think there's really a point. I feel like Bronzong's coming in, but I don't think I have enough room to make this play because if I do let the Kyogre get a free Origin Pulse, it could have got a crit or something, and could have been really dangerous for me if I let my lead get weakened before I weaken the Kangaskhan for my Cresselia Groudon to sweep in the back. So he's going to Mega Evolve Kangaskhan right here, as I am going to Mega Evolve mine, and I'm fine with Bronzong coming in because I know that Gyro Ball won't knock me out unless he gets, even with the Fake Out damage, unless I went for the Geomancy. So Fake Out is going to go into Bronzong. I could have went for like a Power Punch, but again, just making the safest play. Weakening that Bronzong, so Precipice Blade's 100% guaranteed to knock out his Bronzong is nice as well. Xerneas does flinch from his Fake Out, but I know I'm not in Gyro Ball range. And here I'm actually just going to go for the Power Punch. No, I'm not going to go for the Power Punch. I actually think I switch out my Kangaskhan here into Cresselia because I do not want Trick Room to be set up. And I go for the Moonblast into his Kangaskhan to try and weaken it. Because I can't have him have Trick Room up. If Bronzong gets Gravity up, Hypnosis is going to be a really big issue for the rest of my team as he has Sweepers in the back. Plus Hypnosis is going to weaken me so much that I can't have it. As Double Edge is going to come out from the Kangaskhan, it doesn't knock out my bulky Xerneas. And he does weaken himself even more, which is really nice, as I do fire off a Moonblast into the Kangaskhan here, and that's going to do so much damage. It almost picks up the knockout. as he does go for the Trick Room. But this is really exceptional for me because Kangaskhan can't really double edge my Cresselia for free. Otherwise, he would knock himself out, and that would be like one of the biggest threats to my team already gone. So I'm feeling very nice about my position here, but not to worry about Hypnosis, which I'm kind of assuming he's going to go for. I'm assuming he's going to go for a Hypnosis into Cresselia and maybe a Protector Kangaskhan, but he's just actually going to go for the Gyro Ball instead. I'm fine with sacking Xerneas, as I said, because Xerneas is not necessary for the game at all, as Xerneas goes down and he goes for the Power Punch, which is fine. Power Punch is going to go into my Cresselia. He's going to get a +2. This Kangaskhan actually might be scary depending on how I handle it. As Trick Room is going to be set up from my Cresselia, that's going to reverse his Trick Room. And now I'm going to bring out my Kangaskhan. I can't afford Groudon to be lost here. I have to go into Kangaskhan and play the Fake Out Mind game. I know that he's not going to go for Fake Out here. I don't know what he wants to do really, but I am just going to go for a Power Punch into the Bronzong and the Icy Wind. I don't expect him going for Trick Room here because then my Cresselia would be slower than his Kangaskhan and possibly could threaten it with 2 Icy Winds. I think that his Kangaskhan has to go for Protect here if he wants a good shot at winning this game. So I'm going to go for the Power Punch. I kind of went for a Fake Out into Bronzong, but I don't think that's a play here. Kangaskhan is going to protect here as I do go for the Power Punch into his Bronzong, and I'm probably the worrying thing is I do have to deal with Hypnosis most likely. So Power Punch is going to go off, do a nice amount of damage. Icy Wind is also going to go off into the Bronzong, and that makes his Gyro Balls more powerful, but I did want an Icy Wind there in case of a switch, or in case he didn't protect Kangaskhan and went try to go for a knockout on my own Kangaskhan. Gyro Ball is going to come out, do about a third, more than a third, but here it's Speed Ties. We're going to go for a Speed Tie. I'm going to go for Icy Wind. I'm going to go for Power Punch. It's going to be who wins the game, but if he does knock out my Kangaskhan with Power Punches, I can at least set up with the Gravity Precipice Blades and win the game. So I'm not concerned about losing the Speed Tie unless he hits a Hypnosis. So basically I'm relying on the Speed Tie or Hypnosis missing. So it's not that bad in my favor. A 40% chance or a 50% chance. I need one of those. If I get one of those, I feel really good about my position here. As it's Pokemon. As we do get the 50% chance, and the Power Punch is going to knock out his Kangaskhan. So I'm at a +3, so that is really good for me. As I do go for another Icy Wind, in case he wants to switch out once again, or in case he won the Speed Tie, because then my Cresselia would have been faster. As he goes for the Hypnosis, and into the Cresselia, actually. I think he told me he targeted the wrong Mon. But yeah, and my position here is looking fine. He has to bring out one of his primals now, and I'm assuming it's going to be Groudon, and it is Groudon. He already primal reversed Kyogre though, and my Groudon hasn't primal reversed yet, so if I knock out the Bronzong here, if I target it with a return because I know it can't protect, he either loses Bronzong or he loses Kyogre on the switch out. And either way, that basically seals up the game for me. So I know he has to Fire Punch here and go for a Trick Room. So I'm going to return the Bronzong because it's a knockout at +3 at that range. And now we're going to be relying on some sleep turns for Cresselia, depending on how fast Cresselia does wake up. Cresselia will be taking its first turn, a guaranteed sleep, but I know just return it to Bronzong, safest play possible. I might be able to lift the Fire Punch. Depending on the set, I don't know how offensive Steven's Groudon was because it didn't really get an attack off throughout the entire set. But his Fire Punch does go into the Kangaskhan. I do have some defensive bulk, like physical defense bulk. It's still a low kick from Jolly Kang. So I do know he's quite invested in Adamant bulk. Should be Adamant, quite a bit of attack. And I'm going to go out into my Groudon as I haven't Primal Versed yet, but his Kyogre does come out. It has Primal Versed yet, so his Primordial Sea is going to activate. However, my Desolate Land will now be up, and this is going to be really nice for me. It now comes down to some plays. So it's either he goes for a Sword Stance and an Ice Beam, predicting my ground to protect to stall out a sleep turn, or he goes for Precipice Blades Ice Beam. In my head, if he Precipice Blades Ice Beam and I don't protect here, I lose the game 100%. So that's my mindset. So I'm forced to protect here, in my opinion. And even if he goes for the Source Dance, making the read, my Cresselia has a chance to wake up the following turn, because now it'll be taking its second turn of sleep, which means I have a very likely percent chance to wake up here. As he does go for the Source Dance play, as I do make the Protect play. It is my best play no matter what. And he does go for the Ice Beam into Groudon to protect. And now here, I'm going to go for Source Dance and the Skill Swap. A lot of people were wondering, why didn't I just go for Precipice Blades? If I set up a Source Dance, I don't have to rely on hitting as many Precipice Blades, because I would be relying on hitting 4 of them instead, I could only rely on hitting 2 or maybe 3 at most if Kyogre is able to live. As I do wake up with the Cresselia, get the Levitate onto my Groudon, and the Source Dance is going to be set up as he does fire out the Precipice Blades here. And, you know, my Cresselia is not that bulky, so it is going to go down to the Precipice Blades. But my Groudon is the thing that I need for this game, and he is going to fire out the Ice Beam right here into my Groudon right here. And now I just go for Blades and hope that I hit both of them. Precipice Blades, we did calc the roll on the Kyogre after the set. It is a roll in my favor. It's a slight roll in my favor. It's over 50% in my favor. So Precipice Blades does come out, and I actually end up critting his Kyogre. So, you know, it is a roll in my favor, so I'm not sure if the crit mattered. But he would have only got Ice Beam damage off, and that would only matter if I miss a Precipice Blades here. And yeah, Precipice Blades, most likely I could miss. It's very likely I could miss, but he would have gotten Ice Beam off and then has to Fire Punch. So he would have had to dodge another Precipice Blades there. But, you know, that would end up me losing based on luck, so I'm fine with it. Precipice Blades does miss by the Groudon, but he actually makes a bad mistake and forgets about the Levitating Groudon. That's the second time that happened to me today. But if you guys do want to know the calc, actually, Precipice Blades, not Precipice Blades, his Groudon's Fire Punch onto my Groudon at +2 does it's a roll. It's not a roll. It does about 85 damage to 101, and I was at 108, so I lived at 100% unless he got the Fire Punch off. And he needed a Fire Punch crit basically, or his Kyogre had to survive that Precipice Blades when I didn't crit. If I didn't crit him, had to go for the Ice Beam, and then had to rely on one of his 2 Pokemon missing the Precipice Blades there. So he could have won, but yeah, that's how Pokemon goes. But I do take the set and I do take the tournament. The end game there, I probably could have played better. I should have probably just set up the Power Punches right away, getting rid of Kangaskhan. But I was really worried about a Trick Room Bronzong under Gravity and then dealing with the Hypnosis and the Source Dance Groudon. So, I don't know. I still feel like I could have played the third set better. I feel like the only game I played really well in that set was Game 1. Game 3, I did rely on rolls, but I did go for rolls that were most likely in my favor. So, that was basically my mindset throughout the tournament. I hope you guys enjoyed this little side series of the 2016 Liberty Garden Invitational. I did win a cool notepad, and again, shout outs to Jen Bamo and Liberty Garden for running the tournament. And I really want to thank the commentators. They did a fantastic job. Justin Karras, Dan Levinson, Tommy Coolian, Joe Brown, and I believe there were others, but I don't remember everyone who commentated. I think Chuppa Cross commentated, and if there were any others, thank you guys. This was a really nice event. It was really fun to see everyone, and I hope you guys enjoyed the content. And you guys should definitely check out the stream. You can follow them at twitch.tv/LibertyGarden. I do play at these premiere challenges. They do stream the premiere challenges and a bunch of other stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the mind behind James Baek at these tournaments. And yeah, see you guys next time.